Here in the UK, police are assessing information about private flights in and out of Luton and Stansted airports following the publication of the Epstein files. Last year, a BBC investigation found 87 flights linked to the convicted paedophile had arrived at or departed from UK airports between the early 1990s and 2018. In December, BBC News discovered that 3 British women who were allegedly trafficked appear in Epstein's records of flights in and out of the UK, alongside other documents related to the prolific paedophile. Well, US lawyers representing hundreds of Epstein victims told the BBC it was shocking that there has never been a full-scale investigation into his activities in the UK. Well, let's speak now to our UK correspondent Danielle Sanford. Just picking up on that line, I mean, people will wonder why there has not been an investigation, given the questions around not least Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. But where are we now on the police investigations and their checks?
So just taking it in stages, first of all, we've had full confirmation today from Bedfordshire Police that they are looking at flights in and out of Luton Airport that are linked to the Epstein files, and that follows on from Essex Police saying last night that they were looking at flights in and out of Stansted. So you've now got 2 local police forces with major airports on their territory who are saying that they're assessing whether information in the Epstein files should lead them to a full investigation. Now, what's not clear from that is whether that's looking at specifically women that have been trafficked, or whether women have been trafficked related to a specific person, like, for example, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. At this stage, it's just looking at what stuff in the Department of Justice files, the Epstein files, and assessing what they should do with it. Now, why they're only saying they're doing that now when some of this information was being published by the BBC before Christmas is slightly unclear. You've then got other forces that are looking at the 2 sort of categories of allegations. There's the allegations against Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. So the main force leading on that is Thames Valley Force, which is the force responsible for the Windsor area. And they're looking at these 2 different tranches. One is around whether or not Andrew may have given confidential government documents to Jeffrey Epstein, this misconduct in public office, and the others are to do with alleged sexual offences. And then the main police force in London, the Metropolitan Police, looking at stuff relating to the former Cabinet Minister, Lord Mandelson, and whether he might have been giving confidential government information to Jeffrey Epstein. So all of that amounts to 6, possibly 7 police forces that we know of involved in doing investigations, well, in assessing information as to whether they should carry out investigations linked to the Epstein files.
And do we have any indication on a timeline, for example, on whether the police will formally investigate Andrew? Because we've had increasing calls for him to be forced to testify in the US, whether the royal family, the king, will put proper pressure on him to do so, and whether there will be a formal police investigation.
I mean, no is the simple answer. We don't have a timeline on it. Thames Valley Police said more than a week ago that they were assessing the information. That's basically trying to make a judgment as to whether they should carry out a full investigation. What's clearly happened is that more and more information has been coming into that assessment, and so the idea that they could make a quick assessment has perhaps evaporated somewhat. But I think at any moment we could hear from Thames Valley Police saying what their decision is on whether they're going to actually launch a full investigation into the King's brother.
Danielle Sanford, thanks very much indeed for being with us. Thank you.